Hi there, in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to transform a naturally droopy eye into more of an uplifted cat eye, which I find is the more common shape that you see eye makeup tutorials on social media and YouTube geared towards, and I find that really frustrating seeing as I have a naturally droopy eye. So here are some tips and tricks to help you achieve the same looks. In today's look, I'm going to do more of a rose gold bronze smoky eye, so if this interests you then please keep on watching. To begin any eye look, prime your eyes. I'm using Soft Ochre Paint Pot by MAC. Next, I'm going to use the tiniest dusting of translucent powder just to set that prime. Next, I'm going to go in with ColourPop's Game Face Super Shock Shadow and place that all over the lid, packing it on with a synthetic brush just on the mobile lid. Next, grabbing any big fluffy brush, I'm using a Sigma E25. I'm blending out that cream eyeshadow and buffing it just a bit above the crease as much as I can go and softening that really metallic sort of look. This buffing begins to add dimension to your eye. With the droopy eye also comes a slight hooded nature, nothing too drastic, but this is where you're going to see I'm going to start mostly focusing dimension on the outside of my eye to create that uplift that isn't there. Next, I'm going to go in with Makeup Geek's Preppy and Latte eyeshadows as my transition colors. So I'm going to use a big fluffy brush to buff it into the crease and just above the crease so that the darker colors that I'm going to place on my outer V later on will blend more seamlessly. Notice that I don't drag any of the colors too far down the side of my eye because I want to maintain that uplifted eyeshadow look. You can use tape to help you out, but I'm just doing it freehand here. I'm going to go in with Makeup Geek's Cosmopolitan Goddess and Pretentious eyeshadows and pack that onto the lid with a stiff shader brush. So I'm choosing the MAC 239 for its shape and stiffness, and just pack that on the mobile lid as we're going to blend it outwards with a fluffy brush as well. Here I'm adding some more of Game Face eyeshadow because we're losing the copper tone with the blending out and the adding of other eyeshadows. And again, just grabbing another fluffy brush and blending out those eyeshadows that we packed onto the mobile lid. Next, I'm going in with Kat Von D's Metal Crush eyeshadow in the shade Synergy with a stiff flat shader brush, my 239, on just the outer part of my mobile lid. I'm not extending too far down my lash line. I'm just maintaining a little strip on the outer edge. And once again, we're going to buff that eyeshadow as well. I'm dragging that a little bit more into the crease now, as it is darker than the other colors we have placed on the mobile lid prior. So to fake that uplifted look with the eyeshadow, you need to follow your lower lash line and curve upwards, not so much like an exponential graph, but kind of just angle the slope lower a little bit more. We can't follow our natural lash line straight out like people with naturally winged eyes can do. Next, use a very pointed tapered blending brush. I'm particularly using the Tom Ford eyeshadow blending brush and grabbing two darker brown eyeshadows. I'm using eyeshadow number 63 Creme Brulee by Morphe and 26 Treble by Morphe as well, and buffing them more precisely into the crease and above the crease. I'm building depth above the crease so I can reshape my crease shape as well. This trick works because dark matte colors create the illusion of shadows and depth. And again, focus those dark colors more on the outside. You can build them a little bit on the inside or else it looks unbalanced, but focus more on the outside. Next, I'm going to go in with a small angled synthetic brush and my L'Oreal gel liner to begin creating a more defined wing to the edge of my eye by following sort of where the eyeshadow shape, the edge of the eyeshadow shape, and lifting upwards. Doesn't matter if it's not too perfect, as we are going to buff this gel liner out some more. It helps to stretch your eye area back a little bit as if you have a downturned eye or droopy eyelids, it'll straighten out all those creases so you can create a better line. Here I'm extending the gel liner just a little bit past the inner tear duct, and we're going to work on that more later on. But here I'm grabbing a Q-tip and with some water or whatever eye makeup remover, cleaning up the edges to create a crisper line. Then using the Wet n Wild eyeshadow trio, and I'm getting sunburned, the middle brown, dark brown color, I'm placing it with a stiffer eyeshadow brush that's almost like a pencil brush in just the outer V, connecting it to my outer wing. So see how it's just on the very edge, and then I'm gonna buff that out using my tapered blending brush to begin to diffuse the color but also maintain the shape that I created. Next I'm gonna go in with a fluffier brush, so my MAC 217, and buff that out just a bit more. So I'm keeping it in the crease but also extending it to join the above the crease transition color, and not extending it any past where the gel liner ends off. And then to follow the precise blending, we're going to blend with an even fluffier brush to meld all those colors together and create more of a gradient effect with our eyeshadows. Next, going in with a liquid eyeliner, so I'm using the NYC one. I'm grabbing a pointed silicone brush by Real Techniques to add more darkness to the existing gel liner that we have buffed out with all of our blending. And I'm also going to use that point to create a precise downturned point in my inner tear duct. And again, grabbing a Q-tip and cleaning out the outer edges needed, and lowering if the eyeshadow has gone too far up my crease. And then I'm going to go in with Makeup Geek's Cosmopolitan and then a pale pink eyeshadow for an inner corner highlight. I don't put too much in my inner corner because I'm not a huge fan of that, as I don't have a very defined inner tear duct, so I don't want to emphasize it if I don't like it. But here I'm grabbing the liquid liner and my silicone brush by Real Techniques again, and starting to follow my natural line at the top and just dragging that downwards where it would naturally go down if I were to extend that line, so I can create the most natural inner tear duct extension that I can. And again, to make it more natural, you're going to blend it into your lower lash line as well. It ended up being harder to do on camera in the viewfinder, so I will later on fix it with off camera. But as you can see, you just have to keep using small strokes and building it until you think that it looks natural. And here I'm just adding some more Cosmopolitan eyeshadow to the inner tear duct to re-emphasize that area. After I've applied under eye concealer, I'm going back in with the Kat Von D Synergy eyeshadow with a pencil brush or flat stiff shader brush like my MAC 239, and I'm just buffing it underneath the lower lash line. Here I'm adding some Cosmopolitan eyeshadow, so essentially just creating the same balance that we created on the upper lid to pull the whole look together. Then with a pencil brush, I'm just brushing in some matte brown eyeshadow to smoke out the lower lash line. Again, working on blending in the liquid eyeliner with my natural eye shape. It's a lot of trial and error, and it's especially hard to do in a viewfinder, but you just have to keep working on it and lifting your eye a bit to make sure that it blends in with the natural lash line. The biggest tip I have to make sure everything's balanced is to step back and look at yourself and look at your eyes in the mirror and make sure that it's the look that you want. If not, then you can clean up the edges and make the wing higher up or add more eyeliner to lower the wing to whatever suits your eye shape. So here's the final look. Hopefully you like it, and hopefully you learned something for those of you who have naturally downturned eyes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.